Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I understand. I understand totally. I do. I got the video up and running. Yes, ma'am. It's me, Miss Larry Fulmer. I have the first elder of the grandmothers of the original humans here talking to me now. I sent out a notice a while ago to hold a special meeting of the Council of Terra. She got this message. And she's coming up here to assist me. She calls this a time of need of her. As the eldest of the original humans, the eldest of the grandmothers. So she's first elder now of the grandmothers of original humans of Terra. She feels this is directly her responsibility to assist me in this time. Yes, ma'am. She says that she's going to support me in the Council of Terra and what I have to say because she's already looked. That's why I went ahead and jumped on after I made that video and uploaded it, she was here and I started this one so she could be here and with me answering her so you can tell what we're talking about. And this is what she's going to do today. She's going to be with me from now to the end of that council session, wherever I go. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. You know what I'm going to say. You know most all of what I'm going to say. And then on any questions I get afterwards. Yes, ma'am. Okay. Do I need to give you time after I speak? You want time first. Okay. You want to speak to the Council of Terra first. I'm not going to change what I'm going to say. Okay. Yes, ma'am. I will introduce you because that is my responsibility. And then you have the council. Yes, ma'am. That's how it's done. Yes, that's how it's done. Yes, ma'am, this is my dog Bear. And this is Little Bear. And this is Bear. And Bandit's over there on the pillow. Oh, hey, Bear. Hey, Bear. Come here. Let's get some doggies. Let's get some big old doggies. It's a big old dog. It's growing and growing. Yes, ma'am. He's a good boy when he wants to be. When he wants to be. Like most people are on the surface when they want to be. Yes, ma'am. funny. Yeah, I think that's funny too. Yes, I'm prepared for that. I'm prepared for that as well. I may be fooled by thinking that I can influence the entire Council of Terra on this issue. I may be fooled by it. I don't know if I have the yes, ma'am. I don't know if I have that much influence to sway the current conversation of Inner Terra. Yes, ma'am. I am unsure if I have that kind of pull. This will be a test of that, I suppose. Yes, ma'am. This will be a test of what I have. Yeah, I'm trying to keep my mind off of some things. This will be a test of if do I have the influence of the council on me. Can I influence the council? Yes, ma'am. I don't know if I've tried something of this level before. This is something kind of new. Yes, ma'am, it is. I'm honored. I'm honored that you would think so. I feel like I don't know the words I want to say. I can probably think it better than I can come up with some words. Yes, ma'am. That's what I think. If somebody doesn't feel awe in the presence of somebody of your existence, merely your existence is enough to put people in awe. The length of your existence. It's not just that you exist, it's that you have existed for so very long. Yes, ma'am. The perception of you to me, the perception of you to me, I'm not sure I understand what you want me to say. You got to lay right there. Sliding him out of the way. Yes, ma'am. If I had to look at you and say, some sort of age, oh, that's hard to do when I know approximately your age. You don't look that old. Surface humans would think in terms of mummies and such, but that's not what you are. No, ma'am. You have the if they talk your kind of age, that's what they would see. What I see is probably a woman in her 50s. Yes, ma'am, in her 50s. Surface humans 50s. It's not like Inner Terra. No, ma'am, it's not like Inner Terra. I would say you look like you're in your 50s. You look, besides your energy, you're very vibrant looking. You look, I'm sure you have the look that you did then. You retained it. Hermes retained his look when he went to limbo and came again, Father. He has that look still. You must have the look of what you look like when you crossed up. Yes. This is how you looked when you crossed up. Yes, ma'am. You look like a 50-year-old surface human. I would say somewhere in the 50s at a guess. That makes you happy. Yes, ma'am. You never have been asked. You've never asked that kind of question before? Huh. I don't know. I never thought about it. I don't. That's something I don't think about much when I deal with interterrans. I like to know an age, and then I have the way I see them. The way I see them, whether travel view or when they communicate. Yes, ma'am. I think it's got something to do with the whole aging process. The difference in 100-year-old interterran and 100-year-old surface human. There's not really some sort of comparison. It's nothing alike. No, ma'am. I've seen 100-year-old children. I've met my own descendants from previous lives in Interterra. And 100 years old, they look like they are maybe 7 or 8, starting school. And they're 100 years old. And that's not even close to how long they'll look that way. This is 3 years later, and one still looks like he did 3 years ago. This hasn't changed a bit. Not a bit. In 3 years. 3 of my years. Which is almost like a solar year, but not exactly. Yeah. It's not a true solar year, what we recognize on the surface. It's not. It's not figured the same. That's true. I can do both. I can do both. Yes, ma'am. They look good. She's probably wanting me to give her something to eat, and it's not time. It's 9:45. That means it's 15 minutes to 10. So I got another hour to go after that. Yes, ma'am. That's not even a good blink for you, is it? You don't blink anymore. Yes, ma'am. I am becoming more comfortable, yes. The other day I was not comfortable. No, I wasn't. The knowledge of your age and experience and everything was overwhelming. Completely overwhelming. I don't know how I talked. I don't know. And, a lot. Yes. Yes, I am. I get questions like that all the time. I get questions even by my wife and what's left of my family. Yeah, they ask me all the time. I have nothing to show them. No, I don't have anything to show them. All I can show is what I say and how I respond when people come to communicate, or I travel view down to communicate. Yes, they don't even understand that. No, ma'am. No, I don't think they do. I've told them how I do it, but I don't think they truly understand because they can't do that. Not that I'm aware of. If there's anybody else, nobody's told me. I have had one or two tell me that they know these people, they this, they that. But when I've asked, there's no confirmation. No, no. Hmm. I don't like distrust people because of that. I distrust their reasoning for why they're doing it. Yes, I do that. But most of these people I don't even talk to anymore, so I don't hear from them. Out of sight, out of mind. They'll have to pay their dues when they have to pay their dues, I guess. I don't know. I'm not a part of that, or not yet. I'm not a part of that, not yet. Yes, ma'am. Huh? Can you what? What is that? I don't know what that is. I don't think. You wanting to do you're moving. Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am. Huh? You're behind me? I know you're behind me. Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am. Okay. Yes, ma'am. Yes. I have had that before. Yes. Yes, ma'am. Grandmother Lockman's done something similar to that, but you're saying it's something else. Okay. Okay. Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm. Okay. Um. Yes. I think. I think so. Yes, ma'am. Oh. Mm-hmm. Yes. Hush. Hush, dog. Move your head. Move your head. Yes, ma'am. You're moving back around in front of me. Good. Good. Okay. Whoa. What did you learn? What did you learn? Mm-hmm. What? Yes, ma'am. What else did you learn? Anything else about me? Yeah. Okay. Yes, ma'am. I don't see how. I'll come to know in time. In time. Will it be while I'm on the surface or after I go down to Inner Terra with my wife, my team? Maybe before. Okay. Maybe before. That would be awesome. Yeah. Yes, ma'am. A little bit. Hush. Hush, this is not the time. You know somebody's here, don't you? Yes, ma'am. So I think they do. I think the dogs can pick up on it. No. I know what you're thinking. No. Can you repeat that? Yeah, I have that with I've always had that. That's something I've always had. Yes, ma'am. Um I'm not sure. I have been wanting to attribute some of it to being only my second surface human incarnation. Hmm. Yes. Yes, ma'am. That makes sense then. That makes sense. Yes. I know of this one. I know of this one. Yeah. The one you're talking about. Who? Yes. Yes, ma'am. Uh, yes. I think so. Do I remember what? I remember uh, what looked like a red, mm, like a red, some kind of sleep place. Yes, it was red. Uh-huh. There was a table. Water holders. It's like cup or something similar to a cup. It's made of crystals. It was a crystal cup. Yes, ma'am. Crystal cup of some kind. You turn it one way, you might could see all the way through if it's empty. Yes, I remember this. Mine was a green crystal, like um, like malachite, like malachite. Yes, ma'am. was a green crystal like malachite, and the other was carnelian. Carnelian. There's a reddish, yeah, carnelian. Yes. The table. The table was black, like rough crystal carved, but it was kind of rough. It was like black. Onyx. It was like onyx. Onyx. Yes, ma'am. Okay, cool. I got it. So far, so good. What was the holder? The water holder. Kind of a bluish striped. I know the word. Just a moment, please. Chalcedony. It was a chalcedony pitcher. Pitcher. Like a water holder. Yeah, pitcher. Yes. Wow. Okay. The red sleeping place was a type of bed. Yes. Did this room have a what? Oh, yes. A window. Uh, yes. If you was in the sleep area, it was to the left, and it was an open window, just open, just an opening, like round, oval, an opening in the wall to the outside. It was an oval, like a window, but there was nothing there. It's just open. Yes, ma'am. Uh-huh. Okay. I don't know if I know the number of the incarnation. Very long ago. Early in my incarnations. Very early in my incarnations. Uh, Stop. I can't think. Stop. Go away. Go away. No. I don't want to see you. No, ma'am. It's important. Yes, ma'am. This incarnation died not long after that. That image. Yes. Original human. Yes. 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 I became a grandfather. This individual became a grandfather for a long time. A very long time, yes. Remember that. Remember that time? The grandfather time? I need to connect with that grandfather now, as in a memory of, I don't know if I remember any grandfather times. Yes, ma'am. Okay. I don't know. Yeah. Yes, grandmother. Yes. I've got it. I've got it. Wow. I was. You think so? You know so. Yes, ma'am. Every so often, my incarnations have always. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. That might make sense. That might explain some things. 10:05. Yeah, it's still a good long time till council. As council leader, and some of these duties I've learned about in the last month or so. Grandmother, yes. I can do that. You're telling me I can do that. That's what you're doing. You're telling me I can do something I don't know about. Okay. No, that's good. I have learned it. That's a good thing. Okay. And that's why I shouldn't doubt whether I have influence over the council or not. But I still need to do this thing, yes, to let the council know as a whole what I think of this issue. It's a very grave issue, grandmother. It is. Yes, I agree. No, I said it first, I think. Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I have to stop that. I have to stop that. If the only way to stop it is by my being council leader and do my duty down there today, I will. Yes, ma'am. I will use this thing I haven't used yet. Then I'm not going to talk about it yet because I'm on video. Yes, ma'am. And how exactly do I do that? Yeah, that makes sense. I know something about that. I'm listening. I'm listening, grandmother. I have to think about this while I say that. Huh? And you'll be there and confirm what I'm going to say. You'll confirm what I'm going to tell the council. Uh-huh. Yes, ma'am. Yes. Yes, ma'am. The whole, as it has been from the start for me, over 2 years ago now, there is my concern for the numbers. When you talk about the surface in terms of numbers of those who may make it through to the during and after of these coming events. Uh-huh. I have always wanted something more to be done about that. Something to be done. And nobody has ever been able to figure out a way to increase that numbers on the positive side. I think it has to do with the collapse itself. There must be a global collapse to erase let's call them the top of the negatives. The surface humans who are at the top of that negative list, as long as they are there, it's going to be very hard to sway these numbers. That's what I think. Mm-hmm. These people that are, I would say, are not publicly faced people. You're not going to see their faces like you're not going to see their faces on our media and our communications. Those are just pawns, puppets. Yes, they're just puppets. They do what they're told. They might think they're bucking something, but they're not bucking anything. No, ma'am. Everything stays the same or worse. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm. Just a moment, please. I thought I made a note about that. No, not exactly that. That what this is not exactly that. No. Yes. I think it needs to be brought up in council. It needs to be declared, and we need to send what we need to send to do take care of that. And I know we know as Terra, we know who they are, where they are, and everything else about these people. Mm-hmm. And you may have to take out a few of the public heads as well. Yes, ma'am. Do you have that? No, I'm asking, do you have what is a permanent right that you have? You have a permanent right because ex-council leader. Ah, yeah, that fits with what I know so far. Yes. Once you're a council leader, you have a permanent right. Yes. Because you succession from council leader to council leader, you have a permanent right. Uh-huh. Sure, I understand. Um, is this tied to the existence of a being, or is it tied to the soul reincarnations of the being? The existence of the being, which could include the grandmother, grandfather status level, crossing up. Mm-hmm. Oh, sure, I get it. Yeah. You're entirely somebody else when you are reincarnated again. You're entirely somebody else. Whether you connect with your past lives or not, or your higher self, you become somebody more. Somebody more. As in yourself, you're more something because you have the higher self connection, and then it goes backwards in incarnations. Correct? Uh-huh. Oh yeah. I totally get that. I've had that for some time. Yes, I've had that for some time. Yes, ma'am. I don't know about that. I don't have enough information to give you an answer, grandmother. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes. Mm-hmm. Oh, I needed to know this. Yes, ma'am. I needed to know that. That changes. That changes everything. Yes, ma'am. That changes a lot of things. If I'd had that information a year ago, wow, I could have made some changes. I could have done some things. I didn't think I had that. I didn't really even know about it. Why? 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 Could it be, grandmother, because I am not within Inner Terra now? That there's that, and I haven't had that training that council leaders get. I've only had the bequeathment by Dretian and Mason. I haven't had training at all. That is a fault of somebody else. Yes, ma'am. That is the fault of somebody else. I agree. But it was nothing could be done. I think at that particular time, this was a different kind of time. I think it took some. I think it's because. I think it was because I was already in my late 50s when they found me on the surface. I was in my late 50s. And it took them too long to find where I was to contact me like they did to get everything beginning to bud open and everything else that came after because I was on the surface and I was not in Inner Terra. But now I'm thinking, did I incarnate on it and on the surface on purpose for this very thing? Good mother. Oh boy. Seems like I keep trying to make things easier and things keep getting harder and harder. I'm okay. Yes, ma'am. I'm okay. I promise. Doesn't mean I wouldn't want it easier somehow. In the military, they have a thing where they say the burden of leadership when you are in command of other people is a heavy burden to take care of your people and to bring everybody home. I'm not going to be able to bring everybody home. No. I kind of know that now. Yes, I have a problem with it. But there's no fix to that problem. We can't let things stay as they are on the surface. And it's going to be really hard to make a complete total. Today this stops, tomorrow that begins. You can't do that either. Yeah. So there's going to be a during period. And then it might be a while until there's really an after period. The during could last some time. Yes, ma'am, I understand that. That's what I have been trying to get across in how I tell to, people like when I'm on this video and I say, the during's going to last a certain amount of time, unknown at this time how long, and so will the after, where things are being rebuilt, education, everything like that. And you're going to have to be ready for it when it gets here, whichever stage of things you're looking at. You're going to have to be ready for the next stage when it walks up to you, kind of thing. And it's going to be varied around the world as things get around the world from wherever they come up and start at, from Inner Terra up. Like they say, the local goes Inner Terra and then through the surface, and then the surface, and then the above, right? The atmosphere, right? So it's in stages that everything's coming to the surface. And with these stages, if the subsurface was to come to the surface now, that really wouldn't help a whole lot for the surface people. Not a whole lot. I done thought that through about having them to go first. Is one level up, inner Terra comes up and up, and then the above comes down from the atmosphere. Those beings there that pretty much nobody knows about on the surface comes down. Yeah, uh, to complete integration of all four levels. Yes, ma'am. That day is going to be something else for some people. Mm-hmm. Some people are not going to handle it and might snap. Uh, they might go crazy. They might lose their mind. Yes, ma'am. Some people might lose their mind because they're going to be on. I need something. Just I'm okay. Yes, ma'am. Those of us on the surface get such a set way of thinking and doing things that when something is different, there is some sort of they can't unexplain it with what they know. They turn to fear, and sometimes that fear may include anger, whether they know it or not. Whether they know it or not, they'll react in an angry, like they lashing out, and they don't even know why. They're just doing it. They're just doing it. Yes, perhaps so. Perhaps so. I used to have rage in my youth, and sometimes now I get rage, and it's just there like that. It's just all of a sudden, ding, it just there. I don't think it's a situation where they're always in control. No, I don't think so. True. Which is why I don't think how we view the people on the surface who are negative, the lesser negatives, are not necessarily in control. No. The positives are not either because they're so influenced by what's going on around them in the negative society, the negative organizations, and the negative faiths and religions and shit. When all of those combine on the positive person, then they have to act in a way which allows them to function in all that negativity, even as a positive. They have to do certain things. They have to at least show that they think a certain way, whether they actually do or not, just to keep from, yes, to keep functioning within the system. Yes. Yes. If I could get that across to Inner Terra as a whole, that would probably put a stop to this whole considering them negative species, a new negative species. That has to be stopped. And it has to be stopped at 11 o'clock. You can what? Grandma, I have no idea. I won't even hazard a guess on that. You already know what I'm going to say in the council meeting. You know everything I'm going to say, I think. I would imagine you did because you looked. I asked you to look. I shouldn't have to do that. I shouldn't have to do that. Mm-hmm. That's why you came. This is why you came to me this morning. You said you never leave your dwelling anymore when I was there the other day. But here you are on the surface in my home, the way that you can come. It's not in the best of shape right now, no. Will I ask you? Will I ask you this to do this? No, ma'am, I will not ask you to do this. There could be, I'm willing to accept some backlash. I'm willing to accept backlash. I'm willing to accept that it might even fail. Yeah. Yes, ma'am. You already did. What did you already do? Can I ask what you already did? You sent this entire conversation out. I only know one other that has done that. Drishun did that. We would have a conversation and he would send it out to everybody. You've done that as well? Wow. All of it? I don't know if I said something wrong. You sent the whole thing out. Yes, ma'am. I got it. Drishun could do that. I don't know anybody else that could do that. Mm. So, so what becomes of the council meeting at 11? We go and hear what they have to say. Okay. Because you sent this conversation out with what you saw that I wanted to say. Mm-hmm. You sent all that out. Wow. And you kept a conversation up with me while you were doing it. I don't have I don't have that ability, no ma'am. Not yet. Boy, if I could do that and carry on a conversation, that would be something huge. That would be something huge. And if the surface could ever get that in a conversation, pick up on that, that would be another huge thing. Well, on the 17th, the council voted to yes to taking permanent ownership of the surface communications as soon as possible. They would say as soon as possible. I don't know. Is it a week? Is it a month? Is it 6 months? I don't know what it is. You think so? That's what I should say. If and if and if, grandmother, have you heard about me saying that? If and if and if. Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am. I'm kind of standing alone up here on the surface or sitting here on this desk up here on the surface. And I'm having all this information and knowledge come in, and I'm trying to put it out in the best ways I can with them listening to the conversations and knowing what, being able to figure out what we're talking about, or they'll just leave the video. Anyway, I have no way to say, just pick a certain date. This is going to happen and watch for it. I don't think I can do that. I don't think I can make Interterra follow that word. Not exactly. I mean, they might get close, but they may not follow that word exactly, depending. on the status of things. Yes. Is this not independent of anything that's ever happened before? Anything that's ever happened before? Is this not something that has never been attempted before? Because I kind of think it has been something never been attempted. Mm-hmm. So we're talking almost 2 million years. That's what we're talking about. Hasn't been attempted. I mean, I know Inner Terra has sent up individuals. They pass at times for communication reasons, for talking to this person or that person. This has happened. But as far as trying to talk to the entire surface population all at once, no, ma'am, that has not happened. You know that's not happened, okay? And you're saying that day is coming. That day must come. And me sitting here in a t-shirt and a flannel shirt, and would do my wall behind me looking like it does, and I'm going to be some kind of spokesman. Yeah, man. I know what my home looks like. It looks like me and my wife, what we think about and the things that we like and things that we do. And Yes. Yes, ma'am. Wow. Of course, Council Leader of Terra would have to make a global statement one day. It's one thing to know I can send a message into living crystal in the council out to everybody on Terra that can receive it. It's another to think about I'm going to send something out to everybody on the surface to receive it and be on the surface myself. And that day's coming. That day's coming. I see it now. I never thought about it, but I see it now. I'm getting antsy. Yes. There is nothing more. That is correct. If I have your support, nothing else would matter except Terra's support. The support of Terra herself would be, huh? I'm fixing to have that. What do you mean? Hold on. Muting the mic. I'll be ready. I'll be ready. Grandma, I have a question. Yes. When Terra links with somebody who is still alive, as in their body alive, not crossed up, what happens? What happens? All of it, what happens? Uh-huh. Is that all? Is that true? Okay. Okay. I didn't mute the mic. Somebody's outside and the dogs are fixing to get loud. They already here. Okay, I'm back. Yes, ma'am. Yes. And it's at that time that after those things have happened. Uh-huh. Those are interterran things, is it not? Yes. Okay. Okay. When I'm trying to figure out how to say this because I am on the camera. I don't know how to say this. If Terra was to do the 6 and 7D level stuff as far as the energy grid on the surface, would they not have to clear the? They still would have to clear the grid points and the ley lines, would they not? At 6 and 7D, because that's my understanding. They have to clear the ley lines to the ground as we can see it on a 3D level. I guess I'm kind of confused on this. I assumed that that's how this was going to have to go. It's a difference. There is a difference. If it happens at 6 and 7D, does 3 and 4 and 5 make use of the technology of the 6, 7D? Uh-huh. They do not. They do not. See, that's what I thought last night when I was thinking. So even that needs to be pushed out of the talks because we need to clear those ley lines to be able to bring this new number of surface humans into society after some time. It may take some time because they have to get rid of the negativity. They have to be following Terran laws, which will promote their positivity and help them raise their positivity levels all at the same time, as in everybody, all at the same time. Because the ones that continue will basically be gone. That's on them, their choices. That part I understand totally. I'm concerned about the Terran energy grid and the Terran technology coming up with the Terrans as they come to the surface, and the surface humans having their massive negativity that we're talking about here, as far as the wars, the killing of other life forms of intelligence, because I know we do it. We kill our own. We don't think nothing about somebody else at this time. Yes. Especially when they find out they're not going to get anything soon. Because it's going to take time. See, I think that's a problem. I think surface humans have to have like a near immediate reward for anything they want to do. They don't think about the waiting and they want something now, and they're not going to get them now. It's just about physically impossible. Even in our realm of 3D, it's going to be physically impossible. You can get the Terran energy grid started, but for us to be able to do it, we still have to clear ley lines and the grid points. Yes. So they won't see the immediacy of anything while all this is happening. And that's a problem on the surface. It may not be a problem for inner Terra, but in the length of lifespans. But the length of lifespan on the surface and having to wait for any kind of, if you want to call it a reward to suit their mindsets currently, then we are talking a lot longer than any of them is going to be willing to wait and be suffering while they wait. The whole thing of I was talking earlier this week about you suffering and you win, and you suffer and you lose. Most are going to be thinking they're suffering and losing, which is going to be a piss poor way for everything to start. That'll be a piss poor way. Yes. Yes, that's what it means. Yes, grandmother. That's my job, isn't it not? Is it not my job to do that? That's what I thought. That's what I thought. I'm dealing with something no other council leader has ever had to deal with. Drishan told me this too. He did tell me this, yes. That's why he kind of didn't want to have Drishan himself did not want to have to deal with the surface humans at all, in any degree whatsoever. I think it's because Terra has always watched what surface humans have done for the last 2 million years. It's been a steady, not just descendants as in descending, but it's been a descending as in descending of intelligence and health and lifetimes, and everything else has descended as well. Descended as in gone down, not just be descendants like as in relations and families. It's descendants as in descending. And that's why some Terrans are willing to call them a separate species now. But you said, and you just sort of stopped at that a while ago, that part of things. It's 9 till 11. I would like to stop this video and start another one on the council hearing and see how the council, the Council of Terra, and see how it goes. Yes, ma'am. Because I don't want chatting all up. I mean, I can knock it off where I don't see it without changing anything. But I'm already over an hour on this one. No, I don't care how long it goes. But people aren't likely to watch it all if it goes too long. Yes, ma'am. There's nothing I can do about that one way or the other. No, ma'am. I have none here. Yes. That was funny. That was funny. You know how hard I fought against being a surface representative when I first when I was first brought in? You know how hard I fought against being a council leader. You know all of this. Okay, I just want you to remember those things when we're talking about these things. Because this is so far above any of those things that it's not even funny. Not even funny. Right. Thank you, grandmother. Yes. I'm not the one. It's getting a little late for that, ain't it? To be saying I'm not the one. I don't want to be the one. How about that? I just wouldn't want it. I don't think a sane person would want it. Am I sane? It's not for nobody to decide, is it? I hear you. I hear you. Yes, ma'am. I'm joking about it, but there's probably some people that are saying, hey, Larry's a crazy son of a bitch. Yes, ma'am. I tend to not pay them any attention. I mean, why should I? Yes, it's offensive. Surface. You already went and saw what it was? I need grandmother and grandfather status. No, I'm not ready to go nowhere. No, ma'am. Oh, yeah, I'm sure I will one day if Lockma was correct. Yeah, I've heard about things from Lockma. Grandmother Lockma, yes, ma'am. .5 minutes. I guess I'll just go straight into a travel view then. Yes. I'll just stay on this video and go straight into a travel view. Yes, ma'am. And you're going to be down there with me. Meet me down there in the council chambers. You'll beat me down. Yes, ma'am. I got so comfortable I laugh too much. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, grandmother. Yes. I don't have to do much to prepare to do that. No, just I'm already in communication, so that's almost like being there. There's a couple little steps I have to think through, and I can be there. Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am. Okay. Let me see if I can. I'm going to type this in right quick into the chat for anybody that comes in because I'm not going to be looking back and forth. Yes. Okay. Yeah, I'm ready. I can go down early. Sure. Okay, grandmother. I'll be there shortly. This is not going to be fun. Hello, grandmother. Yes, I'm ready. Oh, you know who I am? And you know what this is all about. And you've heard some from grandmother, the first elder grandmother of the original humans. I'm assuming everybody got that. Okay. She's going to speak first. And then I'll come back and talk whatever, however we need to talk. Grandmother, it's yours. Wow, 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 wow. Yes, grandmother. I thought you was here to support me, but it looks like it's the other way around now, doesn't it? Any questions on this part from anybody? I don't see nobody, Grandma. Wow, I didn't even have to say anything. I don't have to say anything. Yes, you told me. You did tell me. So I've kind of already spoken, huh? So let's go on to the next thing. We must find a way to do the 3D going above as far as the buildings and renovations for the energy grid, so that we can bring the surface humans into Terra, as in into the membership of Terra as a whole, as the initial plan was, regardless of how you think they think. The negatives can be dealt with. It's the positives that will remain that must be brought into. Yes, ma'am. That's what I say. Must be. It's not debatable. One, they're descendants of the original humans, which wouldn't have been upstairs if you had not went down below and closed off the surface. That was a mistake decision. Yes, it was. We've talked about that before in council over a year ago. That was a mistake. The second state is that mistake was that you remained separate when you could have intervened. And you could have intervened a lot earlier than you have and saved millions of lives. Millions, perhaps billions. I don't know. But the point is, you did nothing. Doing nothing is over. And I don't care if you like it or not. It's over. Are we in agreement? Raise your hand if you're not in agreement, please. Okay. Well, I know I said that kind of roughly, but I meant it. That's why. I wasn't going to take no for an answer. You can tell me that. All right. When we meet again on Tuesday, I want to hear a definite plan by the Committee for Reintegration of the Surface to tell me when, exactly when. I want to know down to the date and time. If we cannot do this, I'll give you another week, and I better by God better be seeing something happening, or source will have its say. Are we clear? Yes, ma'am. No exceptions. I don't give a damn. Do what you got to do. I hear a lot of talking, but I don't hear nothing addressed to me. Quiet, please. Grandmother Lockman, do you have anything to say? Okay. Grandmother Passay, you have anything to say? Okay. First elder grandmother, do you have anything else to add? Yes, grandmother. No, that's not happening. Don't even forget that. Wipe it out your memory right now. I don't give a damn. Anybody else? I know that sounds kind of brush off and pushy, but it's time. It's past time. No more dragging your feet on what you know you're supposed to do now. Your duties are to Terra. All of Terra. Let me drive that home a little harder. All of Terra, including the surface. You will make this happen, including the surface Terrans. And we'll deal with whoever we have to deal with as we have to deal with them. I'm going to ask for a sign of hands of those that say nay. And when you raise your hand to say nay, you're resigning from the Council of Terra. It's your choice. Any hands for voting nay? I see one hand. Be gone. Y'all find a replacement for this individual before Tuesday morning. Thank you. The only one in all the council disagrees with what we've said today. Does anybody have any other issue to bring up while we're in meeting? Anybody? Thank you, grandmother, for what you've done. I move we adjourn. Okay. Okay. Thank y'all for coming in. This is only the second emergency meeting I've ever called, and I appreciate the responses. I do. Yes, Lockman. Yes. Yes, ma'am. Grandmother. Yes. If y'all have nothing to say, I'll return. Okay. Grandmother, please don't stay in your residence anymore. Come out. Yes, please. I request it. I do. Thank you, ma'am. Home. Holy shit. Holy shit. Holy shit. That was not what I had planned exactly, or what I had thought was going to happen exactly either. They didn't like me speeding up their timetable even more either, and telling the Council of Terra that they will include surface Terrans in their plans. And I wanted to know that plan Tuesday in council. I don't think this ever been put to them like that, especially by me with a booming voice. There will be no declaring of surface humans as a new negative species. There's nobody here. There will be none of that. It came up yesterday and I put it to bed this morning. I think that's the shortest council meeting I've ever had. Now that I'm looking at the clock. Wow. Hope I've done the right thing. I probably just confirmed what will have to happen to the worst of the negatives of the humans of the surface today. I've probably just shortened down your time frame. That's your choice, it's not mine. Somebody's behind me. Can you move to my front, please? Hello. Do I know you? Yeah, I see who you are. Do I know you? Okay. I don't think I know your name, no. That name doesn't sound familiar to me. Yes, sir. You're on the planning committee. I understand. Hmm? Well, this is going to be a long day. Okay. Do we have a fix for this problem? If there is no fix known for this problem and you don't come up with one by Tuesday, I have the answer for this problem. And it may seem cold and blunt, but it is the answer for these problems that are going to happen in the future. Yes, they must happen. That's right. That tells you what you want to know? Okay. Yes, sir. Anytime. Come back. I can't say your name. I have no way to say your name. But I'll remember who you are. Yes. Yes, I will. Have a good day, sir. Holy shit. There's going to be more of that coming. If you watch this video, they're going to start the process of restoration of the surface energy, of the Terran energy grid on the surface, which will let them bring their technology up. When they can bring their technology up, they will not be far behind. They're going to do a bare minimum of what they have to do until they have time to deal with the surface human population. That does not mean that key sites, key geographical sites will not be clean to the ground. The key sites must be clear. To include any ruins that are there must be cleared down to the ground, because they were affected by negative energy of galactics, as well as if they were affected by surface humans doing whatever they do. I would recommend, if you know of an archaeological site that you have a friend on, you tell them to clear out. They can or they cannot. I do not care. It won't matter. It'll be cleared regardless when that time for that site is on the, you could say, on the calendar for today. We're not waiting. And when I say we, I'm talking Terra is not waiting. You might get lucky if you get a 24-hour notice, and that'll be it. If you get it. And I can't help that. I have no way to contact all these places. If I did, I don't know if I could. I mean, what can I do? Call them and just sit there on the phone because I can't speak their language and they can't receive me any other way? If you know that you're living on the ley line, if you know you're on a grid point, and if the grid point is the same one that Terra has as a grid point, I suggest you remove yourself and your belongings that you want to keep. I recommend you do that as soon as possible. If you know you're there. Because some people are not going to be able to do it if you only give them 24 hours. They're not going to be able to move. I know that. But at least I can say we gave 24-hour notice. I can't give longer because I don't even know where all the grid lines are. That's not my job at this point. My job is to make sure things happen. So things will happen. And if it's not by their date, they're giving me a date and it's not acceptable, I will give a date Tuesday morning at 8 o'clock in council. If I do not receive a date, I will give a date. I've been told that's what it's come down to by the first elder grandmother of the original humans. I must give this date as a council leader of Terra. So now I have a renewed sense of council leader duties and responsibilities. And if I have to become a little harder, a little colder, that's not a problem for me. It never has been. My problem is not having information. And as of today, that may not be the problem anymore. Their problem is going to be to solve what I tell them to do, because that has to happen. It has to happen, and they know it has to happen. And they know their mistake, and they have to correct the mistake. It's that simple. It is just that simple. The surface of Terra should never have been allowed to be conquered by negative races. and put under their thumbs, and then negativity transferred, transformed, transformated, however you want to look at it, to some of the negatives that have become the controllers and the wheelers and dealers on the surface of their negativity, killing millions of people, billions even. I don't know the numbers. For thousands of years. If you add it up for that kind of time period, we don't have a clue how many people have been lost. I don't know if anybody has an idea how many have been lost since 14,024 years ago. That's when the surface was officially lost to the negative. 12,000 BC, when they destroyed Atlantis city-state and all the other city-states on the surface of Terra. That was their win. Not a couple thousand years later. That was their win. The Anunnaki won and further pushed the descent of the surface humans. And even when they tried to do some modification and place in their own controlled humans, let's say, into monarchies and positions of various sorts of governments and attempted governments and this and that and the other thing. Okay? It's all had to do with the negativity of negative galactic species. And it will not be tolerated any longer. And if you are one of these people, I advise you to go somewhere and try to live your life peacefully and quietly before terror comes to you, trying to be negative in a government position or some corporate position or some religious leadership position or somehow connected to the religions and corporates and government, or even working for religion, corporates, and governments. And other organizations that are negative themselves, like charities that do not do what they say. That's a pet peeve of mine. I will push for that. Things are going to change, and they're going to change one way or another. And I am really at the point that I don't care if a negative is given an option 1. Even if it doesn't come up through the councils in the process to make the surface of Terra part of Terra as a whole, united. And we will get rid of any galactic anything on dealing with the surface. If you're a galactic being passing for a human on the surface, you will be gone. And I'm not talking out of the building. I'm talking you will be option 1. You were told to leave and you did not leave. That is your fault and your choice. And you're going to pay for it. I'm not telling you to do this. I'm not commanding you to do these different things. If you're one of these people, it would behoove you and extend your life if you listened now. Not in a week, not in a month. And I don't know if you have much longer. I don't know if you have longer. It would suit me just fine if there's no government left on the surface of this world in 30 days. It would suit me just fine. It would suit me just fine. Because that means that we're that much closer to having the negatives be gone, or the leaders of the negatives gone. Hopefully some of those that are not as negative can work upon becoming positive, make your choice, or be gone. We will get you gone. You don't have to worry about that. Make your choices. Take your chances. This is 1 hour and 55 minutes and counting. I assumed this was going to be at least 2 videos. It's been 1. This has been one of them mornings I'm going to have to contemplate on. I have a lot of information now that I didn't have. Somebody's out cutting trees. An asshole with his racing 4-wheeler. Y'all have a good day. This is Larry Fulmer. I appreciate you being here for this video, learning what you can. I'm going to check my description and make sure I did the description. I don't remember, but if I did, I'll put it in the chat, and then I will take this video and put it into the forum as a council meeting. Larry out.